So this is exercise 3. We're going to do now a single pole switch going to one light outlet. So what we're going to need is, of course, our directions. We're going to need a piece of conduit here, and this is about 2 feet long. Screwdriver. This is going to be where we're going to screw our light bulb into. Your cutters, one wire nut, one switch, and for our tester, this time we're going to be using the light socket tester with this cord here, and you're going to need one of these, which is going to screw into our light socket to test to make sure it's working properly. So we're going to be using box number 1. That's where our switch is going to go, and then we're going to use this box on top for number 1. It's got a 1 on the top, and that's where our light fixture is going to go here. But for this, on the back of this should already be punched out, and that's fine. We'll fish this through. But on this one, these tabs are not meant to break off. They act like a spring here. So when we do this, what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut off the sheathing off this to expose our wire, and then we're going to feed it through and just push in about 1 inch of this sheathing into that, and then we can work from there. So I'm just going to cut this off now instead of trying to do it in the box. It's a little bit easier for me. So I'm just going to make this cut here. Pull that off, get our paper out of the way again. And just do this on both sides. Make our life easier. Make sure I'm on 14. And so for this box on top, we're just going to push this through. You're going to have to push on it to get it to go past that spring point. And make sure all 3 go through. This ground wire doesn't want to go. There we go. So I'm going to push that through just a little bit, just so it catches. And I've only got about that much on the box on the inside, which is what I want. And then we'll take this end, go through the back here, and come through the back here, and now we are ready to hook up our switch. We'll start with the switch first. So we're going to look at our diagram here, and you notice this is coming from our power source, and so this is coming from the bottom of the box. We don't have it at the bottom of the box. We have it coming from the right side here. So this black wire is going to go to the bottom screw here, and the other black wire going up to our light. That's going to go to our top screw here. So just make sure you have that in the right order, because if you don't, that's going to mess with what is on and what's off, because this needs to be going the right way. You don't want it upside down. This needs to be right side up, so that says off and that says on when we're looking at it. Okay, so we're going to strip these off. We're going to hook the bottom one, this wire to our bottom screw, and we're going to hook this wire to our top screw. And neatness counts with this, so make sure you do a nice, neat job. So this is our bottom screw. We're going to go again with the direction that we're turning our screw here. And I can go a little bit tighter there. I don't want it too big. That loop is a little too big still, so I'm going to just push that down a little bit more. Get that lined up, and that looks better. And just double check, make sure that this one is coming from this line here from our power. It's going to be at the bottom. Tighten that up. Make sure it's nice and tight, because sometimes you'll get it tight and you'll start moving this and it wants to come out. So just double check. And then our second wire is going to go to the top screw here. Pop that into place. Tighten it down. And we always put our switch on the hot side. That way we make sure we don't have power going up to the light at all times. We want it just to get power to it when we want it, and we want to keep the power here at the switch. Now, unlike the receptacle where we're plugging things in, what we're going to do here is we're actually going to wire nut our neutrals together here, and they're a little off, and that makes it a little hard. So you want these even with each other, so I'm just going to trim off about that much just to make it a little bit easier on us. And I'm going to strip off some of that and strip off that. And then these are going to be twisted together a little bit, and then a wire nut's going to go on top. And I want them the same length, we just did that. But I'm going to pinch this with my fingers, or I can hold it with my pliers here. But we didn't mention this tool. We are going to have to use these Lyman pliers, and I want to twist these together. Take them, twist the wires together here so they're nice and secure. The wire nut will hold it together, but I like using these because that makes sure that nothing's coming apart, even on accident. So it should look something like that. And then I'm going to take my wire nut and this is going to go right over the top. And one thing I'm looking for is I want to make sure there's no copper hanging out of the back of this. I want to just see the insulation and no copper there. Also give it a tug, make sure it's on there secure, and then this is just going to get tucked right up inside the box. Just put that out of the way. And then for our light switch up, I'm sorry, for where we actually screwed the light bulb in, there's no ground here, so the only thing we need to ground is just our switch here. So this also, just make sure you're looking at the right wire. Just give it a pull and make sure if it's this line, we're just going to tuck that inside the box. You can put that one away too, we don't need that right now. And so for this ground, this is going to our power. We're going to take that and loop this around and attach this to our switch. And yes, we're going to go this way. I'm going to turn that so you can see it. And we're going to tighten this down. Just to double check, give it a little tug, make sure it's not going to move. And then we are done with our switch. Just screw this in just a little bit, give it a couple turns, just to secure it. And then we are on to our light box. So with this plate here where our light switch is going to go in, we can do a few things just to make our life a little bit easier. You'll notice here you've got a notch here, and then this is closed, and what that's for is kind of nice. I'm going to use these two holes out in the outside hole here, and this outside hole here. That's the two holes you're looking for. So the other thing is, this is nice because this will just slide in when we're ready to install this. So I'm going to screw this in, and that way I can just hold this here when I need to. Okay. So on the back of this, you'll notice, similar to our outlet, not the switch, but the outlet, I've got a brass or a gold colored, and then I've got a silver colored. The power goes to gold, and the neutral goes to silver. So that's what we're gonna hook up here. So let's strip these off and we'll get this hooked up. All right, so here we gotta make our loops. We're not gonna use this with this part, so we're just gonna tuck that up out of the way, and we're gonna put our loops on here. Bend that over and push that out of the way. Take this guy, bend him over, get that out of the way. Get that, squeeze that down a little bit. And this, again, this is a little tricky because this needs to go in this way. So this is going to come in. Oops. Let's back that out a little bit more. And the more you back out that screw, the easier it is, and you might have to kind of bend that down because as you're going up against this flat piece here. So we're going to go right there. I'm going to screw this down, and this doesn't matter. The wire doesn't matter if it's touching this because this is made out of ceramic material, so it's insulated. Even if you touch this, there's nothing that will hurt you as far as if an evo was live. The only thing that's actually powering is this piece of metal right here to get to the light on the other side. So don't worry if the wire is actually touching anything here. That's okay with this particular light receptacle. Okay, make sure that's nice and tight. Now you want to bend this up a little bit, and again we're going to flatten this out. Make sure that's all the way up, and I'm going the wrong way, so I want to flip this way. Get that hooked into place. Let's try a different angle here to get that into where it needs to go. There we go. Okay, tighten this down. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then you want to bend this. You don't want to make this real sharp, but I want to put it like a nice little bend there, a nice little bend here, and then I can push this up into place. Now, you notice where this notch is and where this is aren't lined up, and I can give that a twist, that's fine. Just slide that into place there, push there, and I'm gonna get my other screw, and we do want you to do this. We want you to get this lined up nice. You may have to pick it up a little bit just to kind of line it up. Get that lined up nice, get your screwdriver in there, and you want to tighten these down. So to test this, we're going to come over to our box and we're going to just use one of these. It doesn't matter which one. We're going to take this, and this is how we're going to test our light receptacle here. So we're going to screw this in. You don't need to screw it in really tight, just snug is fine. We're going to take this larger one. Again, there's two. The smaller one goes to our breakout box here, and we can plug that one in. And then the larger one plugs into the bottom of this. And now we're ready to test. So we're gonna come over here, turn it on, and when we flip the switch, our lights, here's our key right here for light sockets. It's a little bit different than our outlet socket. Instead of 5 LEDs, we only have 4. And so based on this, we should see 2 green LEDs. And if we don't see 2 green LEDs, here's our little chart here as far as what could go wrong or what we need to look at if it's not wired properly or something is not correct. But we got 2 green LEDs, so we're good to go.